out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Let's hear root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. But it's 1, 2, 3, take it out and be all holding. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Let's hear root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. But it's 1.
Hi, folks.
Hello,
Talkin
everyone.
Baseball is back. This is season 9, episode 2. I'm Pete Lincoln.
I'm Jason Smith, counting down our timer here. We're a few seconds off, but welcome everyone as we're coming to you from scenic Lunenburg, Mass. at TC Passio Studios. It is mid-April and the baseball season is now 20 games underway. We're an eighth of the way through the season already, if you can believe that.
So we're calling this show Play Ball.
Play ball.
Play Ball, finally.
So we want to give our thanks to the guys in the truck, as they used to call it, Dan and John, and our illustrious producer, helper, magic woman, Debbie Lincoln. And we also would like to thank, again, Gina Smith for the shirts, for hooking us up. So, we're not really fashion guys, so this ensures we at least look fairly presentable during the show.
And before we get started, we have to tell you that we're pleased that we are now seen in 9 states.
Yes, that's
in
right.
Some 60 other stations. And that has caused us to have to take in sponsors in order to fund all this.
Yes, we're now corporate.
and we're any network calls we'd be ready to take.
Oh yeah, no check is too large or too small for us to accept.
There will be an occasional commercial in the course of our discourse.
Yeah, so welcome. It's the 2023 season is officially underway. I've had high hopes this year. Not every Red Sox fan has had high hopes, but before we get to that, we do have a couple things to share. We have a couple in memoriams to kick off today's show, and the first one is someone well known to not just Red Sox fans, but fans across the country. We lost last month. We lost the great Tim McCarver, who people don't realize he was a member of the Red Sox at one point, but he is a 4-decade player. He played from 59 to 80. He played in 4 different decades, and after retirement, somewhat more famously, he went to the broadcast booth in Fox and became a postseason commentator for the better part of 3 decades, I believe he was in the booth. He was in there a long time. And there's Mr. Tim McCarver right there in his younger years with the Cardinals. And so he was with the 67 Cardinals when they beat the Red Sox in the World Series. Yes,
he got a key hit against the Sox.
Yes, he did, and later joined the Red Sox. So he is a Red Sox alum, but like we said, more famously was his career in the booth.
He's a Hall of Fame broadcaster.
Hall of Fame broadcaster.
Hall of Fame broadcaster.
Yes. And
he's well known for yakking a little bit more than he should.
Yes.
People said if you ask him what time it was, he'll tell you how to build a watch.
Yes, that's very true. But and some people, who are my age or younger, we sort of caught him at the tail end of his career. In the 90s, it wasn't quite the postseason without McCarver and Buck yammering and Leo Mazzoni rocking in the Braves dugout, and Joe Torre doing his shuffle out to the mound to change pitchers.
He called 34 World Series.
34 World Series.
34 World Series.
And he did have the insight right to the end, though, the insight that a ball player always has when he goes to the booth. I remember famously in the World Series where the Diamondbacks beat Mo Rivera in Game 7, and Gonzalez got that little flare hit over the infield to win the game.
Moment of the 21st century.
Favorite non-Red Sox moment, yes. But the pitch before, McCarver said, hey, that's dangerous to play in against Rivera because he breaks so many bats, you can flare a hit over the infield. And the next pitch, Gonzalez hit that little flare right over Jeter, and the Diamondbacks won the game.
He did have a tendency to call it like it is.
Yes.
And sometimes the players weren't too happy about that.
Correct.
There was a famous incident where Deion Sanders dumped a bucket of ice water over his head. Right. And he said, "Oh, you're quite a man, Deion."
in his typically understated way, right?
Also, we lost a different kind of a player. Joe Pepitone just passed away. He was in the major leagues for 20 years, famously with the Yankees.
Famously with the Yankees.
At the beginning of his career with the Yankees, when the Yankees were good.
Now, tell me that doesn't look like a New York Italian guy right there. I mean, doesn't that look like an extra from Goodfellas or something?
I'll give you a secret. He's bald.
Yes,
He had a collection of toupees.
Yes.
He had the gamer, the pre-gamer, to go out to date with.
Yes.
And he was of somewhat of a dubious character.
Right. Yeah. He ran with the Rat Pack and was part of that very famous Italian core that the Yankees had all through those great teams of the 50s and 60s.
He came from a tough neighborhood. He was shot once when he was in high school.
Yes, he was.
Shot.
Yes. So,
and I have to read this bit. After he retired, Pepitone and 2 other men were arrested in Brooklyn on March 18, 1985 for running a light. The car contained 9 ounces of cocaine, 344 Quaaludes, a freebasing kit, a pistol, and $6,300 in cash. He spent 4 months in Rikers Island.
yes.
So,
quite the character. And if you did watch the Yankees,
he was never on a Wheaties box.
No.
Never on a Wheaties box.
However, if you did watch the WPIX games back when Phil Rizzuto was announcing, he talked about Joe Pepitone all the time.
Right.
Oh, Joe and I used to hang out in the club, that Italian core that was the backbone of the Yankees for all those years.
So long, Tim, and so long, Joe.
So long, Joe. This show's for you.
We'll remember you.
Yes.
Now, this season is featuring 3 new changes: the shift, the bigger bases, and the time clock. So now that we've had 20 games to check them out, let's take them one at a time. What do you think of the shift rule, where you have to have 2 men on each side of second base on the dirt?
You know what? I actually love it. I think it's. I think the whole idea of the shift, it got to be a little too much, to be honest with you. I mean, every batter, they would have shifts all over the place, and I like the idea of 2 on each side. And what all these rules are designed to pick up the pace of the game and make it more exciting. It's more exciting to watch batters get singles and doubles. You know, how many times did somebody hit a rocket right between first and second? Oh, and the second baseman was right there and he threw him out.
And you know, in a way, it's forced infielders to have greater range.
Absolutely.
And some of the plays I've already seen, it would never have happened before. They stack one side or the other.
Right.
Now the guys have to be able to move and be able to, especially shortstops.
Right. Yeah.
And I think defensively, it actually has picked up the game.
I think so too. I'm all for that rule. I like it. Like I said, I think the intentions were good at the beginning of the shift, and it just got so overblown that it was a real deterrent to the
shift
to the
started
game.
in 1946.
Right, with
Lou
Ted Williams.
Boudreau and
Yes,
Ted Williams.
right.
And it grew and grew and grew.
And then it became just to be a nuisance, sort of.
It became an automatic shift.
Right, yeah, right.
Instead of a stick shift.
Right. Right. So thumbs up on banning the shift. I think that's gone terrifically.
Now they enlarged the size of the bases.
Well,
for 2 reasons. Supposedly, it'll make stolen bases easier and safer for the runners.
Right,
What
correct.
do you think of that?
I actually like this. The funny thing is, the Red Sox haven't really taken advantage of it that much, which I wish they would a little more. You have it's this much on each base is about that much wider all the way around. And it's supposed to encourage steals, but the Sox have not taken advantage. However, the Orioles did and had 10 stolen bases in the first 2 games.
2 games against the Sox, they stole 10 bases.
That's right, which it puts emphasis on your catcher. Your catcher has to be able to mitigate that running game, which is something that is a whole new aspect of. Well, no, I wouldn't say new, but it's something they have to emphasize if you're going to have an everyday catcher.
If you want to build a speedy team,
right,
forget it.
Oh, I like what the Orioles did. They were just going on every pitch. Again, more action. I think that I'm all for the bigger bases, and again, like you said, it's also player safety too. You know, I mean. I hate to see players get injured. You know, I mean that's not why we're watching the sport. And anything that cuts down on injuries, I'm all for that too. So
now the one that I don't like, the pitch clock. The pitch clock is intended to make the games shorter. Now we've spoken many times about we don't pay $500 for 4 people to go to a game to see something that's a short game and is over by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I guess it's catering to the millennial generation.
It is.
The 2 hours is an hour and a half longer than they can have an attention span.
It is. I'm fine with the pitch clock with this caveat. I wish it was 20 seconds instead of 15.
Yeah.
I think 15 is a little too quick. 20, I think, is enough to sort of even the playing field between the pitcher and the runner. Because with that 15-second pitch clock, the advantage, like we just talked about with the bases, is all with the runner, because you can only do, 2 pickoffs?
Right.
And then the third one, the runner gets the base anyway. So I wish it was 20 seconds, but the players seem to love it. I mean, they talked to Tanner Houckpitch today, and after the game, he said, I work that quickly anyway. I love it. Doesn't matter to me.
It makes for some odd calls, though.
Oh, there were a couple,
of
yes.
times.
Yeah.
Strike 3, what do you mean?
Yeah.
They called Devers out
Yeah.
once because he wasn't looking, he was in the batter's box, but he wasn't staring at the pitcher who wasn't on the mound.
Right.
And the catcher was adjusting his.
Right, yeah, sort of nobody was doing anything.
You're supposed to be ready to hit with 8 seconds left.
Right.
Well, you're going to have to put chips in your head.
I do like that it cuts down on some of the inaction. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the intent of it. But I a little bit more time in between pitches, and I think I would be 100% okay with it.
I read last night that it's down to 227 a game average so far.
Oh, the Red Sox had one that was 157. It was 157 the other day. It was a 2-1 game, and Whitlock just completely blew over everybody.
Here's something that they didn't quite seem to take into account.
Yes.
People go to ball games and spend money on concessions and food.
Right.
You have to. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
Right.
I don't care if I never come back.
Right.
You got to go spend money.
150 years ago, it was all about money.
If the game is a 3-hour game, knocked down to a 2-hour game, they've lost 1/3 of the concession time,
Right.
and 1/3 of the tips that go to the concessionaires.
Sure.
And so they're losing money at that.
Right.
And I don't think anybody's thought about it. So they've had some possibilities of maybe extending the beer time to the 8th inning.
Right. The Brewers and Phillies, I think, started doing that.
Started talking about it.
Right.
And then Matt Strom said, wait a minute, that means you're going to be giving guys booze right up until the game ends.
Pretty much.
We don't want drunken guys out on the road.
Right, yeah. So that's a sort of a downside that nobody thought of, because ballparks are just like a movie theater or a regular live theater. They make their money at the concessions. That is pure profit. Right. The ticket money is a wash. That all goes to various places. Where they make their money is the concessions. So,
and if you've ever bought any there, you can see why.
Yeah, it's at $10 for a thing of popcorn this big.
Oh, man.
If you want a custom-made highball, it's what, $25 or something like that.
They do have regular bars there.
Yeah.
I've seen some people just stay there and watch the game on TV.
Oh, they do. Oh, sure they do. Yeah.
Watered down Narragansett beer for $11.50.
Yeah, that's a little much.
And it doesn't do anything, so you have to have several.
Right, and then you end up going to the bathroom, of course, after several of
But
those.
if the game ends in an hour and a half,
Yeah.
that's all gone. And I don't think they've taken that into account.
I think that was sort of something they didn't think about heading in. And also, if you've noticed, the games on TV, they don't have as much room for those little blurbs. You know, they used to put the score up at the end of every half inning, or they used to have the inning ends and it cuts right to the ad.
Yep.
And then it comes back from the ad and the pitcher's ready to go. I mean, that's another
and
thing.
Remember, they've added 15 seconds to the 2
Right,
minutes.
right.
So now there's 2 hours and 15 seconds between each break.
2:15 between each break, and they bring it right to the pitch.
That's right.
And so, yeah, I think that's something that maybe they might have to tweak a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is to that, because and something else they didn't think about. If I remember right, aren't all the ballpark vendors unionized?
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
So wouldn't that affect
4 hours. They have to have a 4-hour shift.
Right. So if their shift is over in 3 hours, you have to pay them for 4. Well, it's good for the workers, but it's not so good for the unions.
The park usually opens an hour and a half before game time.
Right.
So if the game lasts 2.5 hours, they've done
4 hours.
But if it lasts 157,
then they're still on the clock when the game is over. So, and I thought I think part of it wasn't just the drunk driving. I think part of it had to do also with the 7th inning. That gives you time to shut down the stands, because you have to clean up and board up the concession stands, and that equaled the 4 hours. That was roughly equal to a 4-hour thing. So yeah, I think I don't know if I'd be curious to see if there's some kind of chart to see how much revenue teams have lost because of this at the concession stand. I
And
don't
I'm
know if
still
anyone's keeping
waiting
track.
for some crucial call in a game to be caused by a clock.
Yes, yeah, right.
And the other day, they have things now that they wear in their heads,
Right.
and on their arms.
Yes.
And something had lost its battery, and
Oh, they had to stop the game and
stop
get
the
a new
game,
battery.
get-
Yes,
you know,
that's right.
It's getting
that's right.
very robotic. to
Right,
me.
it is, right. Oh, robo-umps, there we go. Hey, another step towards robo-umps. So, yeah, I think, so in terms of the pace of the game, I like it, but in terms of the revenue, that's still to be determined.
right.
I would really like someone to do a study and see how much revenue is lost at the gates by these new rules.
So we'll see. So our feature today is going to be to take a look at the 13 players the Red Sox had on their roster last year, where they went and how they're doing.
So, and this is always amusing to me because, as you know, I'm admin of a Facebook group, and not so much in our group, but sort of across Facebook land. It's very funny to see people saying, "Hey, how come they got rid of such and such?" So the team came in last place, and you're complaining that they got rid of the guys on the last place team. I don't quite follow that logic, to be perfectly honest with you. If
Boston-
it was a last place team,
Jay-
then wouldn't you want them out the door? I don't
Boston
quite
is a
understand.
town that has always loved all their players.
Yes.
If
yeah.
they're Red Sox, we love them.
Yeah. Unless they
If
go to the
they're
Yankees.
Celtics- no, as long as they're on the team.
Oh, yeah, as
we
long
like,
as they're on
we
the
like
team,
all
right.
25.
Oh, of course.
Even if Brazier, we like him.
Yeah. Well, some do.
But I mean, it's. I think it's unique to Boston,
Right.
to really have affection.
Right,
They all
right.
wear the uniforms, the names on the back,
Right,
and so if a team guy leaves, they mourn that.
Right.
almost.
Usually they do, especially if it's somebody good. Like.
Well, let's start with Bogarts.
Oh, yep. Yeah.
Now,
Bogarts.
Bogarts went. We'll go down where all these players are because some of you may not even know where they are. now.
Even I didn't know a couple of these, to be honest with you.
Bogarts has gone to the Padres.
On a 11-year, 12-year deal to the Padres.
And
So,
I went down and picked up all their stats to date
right.
as of this morning.
Up to the minute stats.
This is as of April 20th, the day the Titanic sunk.
Yes.
And he's hitting 342 with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. So he's having
Fine.
fine
A Bogarts year.
Bogarts year.
So right after him, going to the Dodgers, is J.D. Martinez, who until 2 days ago looked absolutely cooked, and then he hit 2 homers the other night. He is currently hitting 274 with 3 homers, 17 RBIs. I don't think that was any great loss for the Red Sox. He looked like he was pretty much done last year, but
He's
yeah,
with
good for him. He's with a good team.
He's with a good team, and that makes a difference.
Sure
because
does.
They can
hide him.
Hide him.
They can hit him 7th instead of cleanup like the
Then
Sox did.
their big pitcher Nathan Eovaldi went to the Rangers, and Rangers looked like they may be a strong
The
team.
Rangers are looking
the
very
last
good.
place
Yeah.
Rangers look at them maybe something this year.
Yeah, right.
He's 2-2 so far. ERA 5.40.
Yeah.
Struck out 24 guys in 21 innings. So it sounds like the old Nathan.
The old
Eovaldi
Nathan
thing.
Eovaldi, a mixed bag. Eovaldi will have one, once every 6 or 7 starts, he'll have a nuclear meltdown, and the rest of the time he's very good. So, also heading out the door for the second time from the Red Sox was the best defensive player I've ever seen, but not so hot at the plate, Jackie Bradley Jr., who is hitting about $120 with the Royals right now, but playing stellar defense. So the typical Jackie Bradley type season he's having right now.
I don't know how long you can carry a guy like that.
Well, yeah,
but they
right.
seem to keep doing
They
it.
do. He keeps popping
I
up
mean,
on
he went
teams.
to the Brewers, was terrible.
The Blue
Came
Jays.
back to us.
Yeah, went to the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays was
afterwards.
terrible there. He was terrible with us last year.
Right.
We gave him up again, and now he's terrible with the Royals.
Well, I think if you had a team like that 2018 team that had that 1 through 8 were good, you can hide a guy hitting 9th like that. But if you're on the Royals, who are a bad team anyway, I don't know how you can carry a guy
And you
like
remember
that.
Jackie Bradley had that one streak in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, he caught fire for a few
yeah.
games. You never know. You never know.
Then remember Tommy Pham? He's with the Mets now, hitting 250. Apparently he's a regular player.
He is. He's been an everyday player. Yep.
The Mets are disappointing so far.
Yeah, very disappointing. And well, also, speaking of disappointing, also going to the Padres, who have a really slow start, is Michael Wacha, who was probably the best Sox starter last year.
Remember they held out hope until March.
Yeah, it was mid-March when he finally
Still
signed with
hoping,
San
please
Diego.
come back, please come
Yeah,
back.
and the Padres ended up giving him some kind of, it was a weird deal. It was like 1 year, but there was like an incentive that it could go to 3 years. And he had 2 really good starts, and then he just got hammered his last start. So he's 2-1 with an ERA of about 6 right now. These are early returns. I
Yeah,
mean, this
that's
isn't going to
right.
stay where, but we're just sort
Just so
of
you know where they are.
Yeah.
Rich Hill is still pitching.
still going. He's only a year younger than me. You know, isn't that really scary? No, he's about 4 years, but whatever.
He's like Timex, takes a licking,
Keeps
keeps on ticking. You know.
Yeah, with the Pirates, who are surprisingly good so far this year.
Well, he's 1-2 with an ERA of 5.57.
About where he was last
That's
year.
what he was last year.
So maybe go ahead.
This next guy.
Yeah,
though,
this next guy,
had,
maybe
had a little sensational moment.
maybe the biggest headline grabber of ex-Red Sox in the early going is our old friend Franchy Cordero, who is now a member of the Yankees, and he hit 4 homers in the first 8 games of the season, I think it was, including a couple game winners late in the game. And everybody's going crazy. Oh, Franchy, why'd they let him go? And I said, don't worry. He's going to go into one of his patented 1 for 27 with 18 strikeout stretches, and you're going to want him on the bench
I think it
again.
was.
Don't worry.
I think it was 0 for 27.
0 for 27.
He's down
yeah.
to hitting 200 now.
Yeah, so the water sinks, it finds its own level. Yeah, right. So,
He had his moment in the sun.
he sure did. He hit 2 big homers in the
And
first week.
New York loves ex-Red Sox.
Oh, of course they do. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, stick it to him. Yeah,
Then Jake Diekman, remember him?
sure do.
He's 0-1. He's only pitched 8 innings. He's with the White Sox now.
Yeah,
As
right.
back of the bullpen.
He's a
guy.
6th, 7th inning guy, I think. Yeah,
Hasn't done much.
No. We do have Eric Hosmer, who went to the Cubs and actually has been playing pretty regularly. He just hit his first homer yesterday. He's about hitting about what 250 right now, I think. And you know, the weird thing about Hosmer is that he's a first baseman, but he's a singles hitter. He's kind of an oddball player. So I don't think as much as Casas has been up and down so far this year, I don't think they're missing Hosmer very much at first base.
Then I just mentioned Matt Strahm. He's with the Phillies now. He's pitched 12 innings, has got 16 Ks and a 2.13 ERA.
And he started a couple of games.
And,
They have him as a starter.
We miss him.
Yeah, I liked him a
liked
lot.
it
I wish they'd brought him back. I really liked him. He would have been a perfect lefty piece in the bullpen this year.
right.
I think that may be the most regrettable guy in my book that they let go. And this one, I didn't even know he was still in the major leagues. Connor Siebold, remember him? They got him, he came over with Pavetta from the Phillies, didn't he?
Right.
Yeah, he is currently with the Rockies.
The Rockies.
Yeah, and he's pitching out of the bullpen. He doesn't have a decision, but he's pitched 10 or 11 innings.
He's been pretty rocky.
Very well. Aren't they all in Colorado? All the pitchers there are rocky. But he's got about a 5.5 ERA, typical Rocky reliever, up and down.
And the last one is Matt Barnes, who
Yes.
was with us the longest, longer than Bogarts, I think.
He was the longest tenure last year.
Tenure.
Yeah.
He finally has gone to the Marlins, where he is 1-0 with 5 innings pitched.
Yeah.
So he's very back of the bullpen.
Yeah, very back in the bullpen. But it's amazing. 13 there are only 26 players on the roster, and that's half the last year's team
right.
already turned over and on other teams doing various amounts of quality work on other teams. Right. But we sort of thought it'd be cool to do a Where Are They Now section early on in the season. And the way things are going, the Sox may have a couple other Where Are They Nows by the end of the year.
It's kind of fun to follow players, see how they do. See if losing them was a bonus or not.
Well, and he left the middle of last year, but Christian Vasquez too just came back to Fenway with the Twins this series, and they had a big video greeting for him and everything like that, and the big thank you out on the scoreboard.
And he was 0 for 8.
And he was 0 for 8, and a catcher's interference. So
that's another show.
Oh, that's a different show. The catcher's
so
interference.
we'll be right back after this word from one of our sponsors. Athletes, did you once do something impulsively that you now regret? Did you think taking steroids would enhance your performance and make you a star? Now you realize what a mistake you made and wish to undo it. Wish no longer. Passios Pharmaceuticals has produced another miracle drug called Diurets. That's steroids spelled backward. DIORETS, backwards steroids. Just 6 weekly shots in your butt for 6 months. And all damage done by steroids will be undone and untraceable. Here's an endorsement from Diuretics user Frumius Mandersnatch. After 6 months of injecting Diuretics, my hat size went from 8 to 6 3/4, and my groin was almost back to normal. Do what hundreds of athletes are doing, undoing the damage that will keep you from being linked with Mark McGuire, Alex Rodriguez, and Pee Wee Reese. Shoot up Diuretics instead of steroids and be the man you used to be. Side effects may include loss of all gained athletic talent, and you may suck like you did in high school. Okay? It's time for trivia.
All right. Let's do the trivia.
You people new to the show, ever since we started, we've asked a trivia question, baseball trivia question, to the general audience. But since we were getting few responses at that time, we decided to turn this into Ken Jennings Knows Baseball.
Stump
Jason
me.
Smith.
Stump
so
me.
I decided I'm going to ratchet up these questions.
Oh,
this
okay.
time.
Oh, all
Ratchet
right.
them
We're
up a
bringing
little
it up. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So this
Kicking
question,
it up a notch.
This question is, what Red Sox player in his career
Okay.
hit the most home runs in April?
Wow. Oh,
In his career,
man.
in his Red Sox,
Oh,
what
his
Red Sox career hit the most
Wow.
home runs in this month? In April?
Oh, man.
Okay, so you got some time
You're
to
throwing
ponder
the
that.
gauntlet down on that one.
Time to ponder that.
Oh, man.
So while he's pondering,
Wow.
the next segment of our
Okay.
show is called Fenway Memories.
Fenway Memories.
Fenway Memories.
All right. So should I go first on this, or do you want to kick it off?
My Fenway memory today is about my first World Series game. Sox were in the World Series in '67, but I didn't have 20 cents at that time. But in '75, when they made the World Series, they announced that standing room tickets would be available at Gate D outside the bleachers on Saturday morning before the series started. And it was just standing room because all the rest were given to season ticket holders. But I said, I got to go. So I drove my car down to Kenmore by myself. I put on a London Fog raincoat and a fedora hat, and I had a button that looked like a press button, had a camera around my neck, and I walked up to the line of people which stretched all the way around to Brookline Avenue from the, what's his name street? Lansdowne Street.
Yeah, that old box
all
office.
The way,
yeah,
all
yeah.
the way around. And I said, I figure out I'm going to do this. So I got to the line, started taking pictures of people as though I were a photographer, a press photographer, and asked them how they, the people were talking to me, they bought it
yeah.
because it was a warm day and I
Right,
had a
right.
press coat on. Got all the way to the beginning of the line, boop, popped in, and no one said anything. So I said, what do you got left? He said, just tickets for games 6 and 7. So I said, could I have 4 tickets to game 6, which actually didn't cost much in 1975.
Right.
So I got 4 tickets to game 6. And I said, I'm going to go to a World Series game. And as I walked back across Lansdowne Street, I started to think, we're playing the Cincinnati Reds, the big
red machine in the midst of 3 straight World Series wins.
Now,
Yeah,
what
right.
happens if there's no 6th game? What if they get knocked out of there or win
Yeah,
in
right.
the first 5 games? I won't get to go to a game. So I sort of said out loud, has anybody got any tickets to games 1 or 2? Well, one guy said, I'm looking for tickets for game 6. I'll trade you. I'll trade you 2 tickets to game 2 for your 4 tickets to game 6. I said, great.
Great deal.
Great. And bring the picture up. You can see, here's me waving the tickets.
Proudly holding the
This
tickets.
is from a book that my wife and I wrote, and it was illustrated. This story was told there. I've got my 2 tickets to game 2, and you can see the look on my face and my outfit. Well, you have to know the story, the rest of the story, without even me telling you. They lost game 2, and it was a rainy day, but the series went to game 6, which was the all-time famous World Series game that Carlton Fisk won
Yes.
in the 12th inning. Maybe arguably one of the 4 or 5 most memorable World Series game ever, and I had given my tickets away.
Yeah, it was Goodwill Hunting all over again, right?
Exactly.
It was Robin Williams. You picked the girl over the game, right? You could definitely relate to that story.
And I used to be a risk taker, but
Right.
now I'm just a Fisk loser.
Imagine being able to say that you were at Game 6 of the World Series. Oh my God! But it's to this day considered the greatest World Series game ever.
It was not a Socratic decision.
But it wasn't. And thinking back in that game, it wasn't just the Fisk homer. People forget. Bernie Carbo had maybe the ultimate pinch hit 3-run homer that tied the game in the 8th inning. Because Tion was on 2 days rest or 3 days rest, and he got hit hard.
That's right.
And they were way behind, and Carbo hit the homer to tie the game late, and then Fisk hit the
Against
homer
Raleigh
in extra inning.
Eastrick, who was their leading, the best reliever.
Oh yeah, he was their closer.
ace.
Yes, yeah, off Eastwick. Yeah. Yep.
And then the game went into the 12th inning. It was
Into the
just-
12th inning.
And then the last of the 9th, they got a double play called against them. Because,
That's right.
Who was Denny Doyle?
Denny Doyle,
thought
yeah.
the guy said go instead of
no, and he ran and was out by a mile.
Oh, let's not go through
Yeah,
that. again.
all right. Well, my memory is somewhat of a different one. And in fact, it's not a memory at all. And those of you out there can take heart that even seasoned veteran attendees, such as ourselves, can screw up sometimes. Well, this is back when they first started doing the interleague games. And if you remember, it was a huge deal. The National League teams were going to come to play Fenway.
Controversial, though.
Controversial at the time. But my now wife, then girlfriend, Gina, and I scored a couple tickets to a Pirates game. The Pirates had never been to Fenway before.
right.
It was their first visit to Fenway. We said, oh, this is cool. We're going to go see the Pirates. And they were sort of nondescript team, but still, it was their first visit to Fenway ever. And so, marked the date on the calendar, got the tickets and everything like that. And, this was the days before you just put it in your phone and you were all good to go. You had the actual wall calendar. Well, idiot me, as I found out much, much, much later, put the date on the wrong day on the calendar. So the day before, a very good friends of ours, a couple, had their wedding anniversary. Then they had a big party, and we were at the party, and we watched the Red Sox lose 1-0 during the anniversary party. And said, okay, well, this is a weekend. We got the party, we got the game. We go to the game, get all the way to the gate, and the guy scans our tickets. These are for yesterday's game. What? This is yesterday's game. And if you watched Alex's Verdugo's interview the other day, I said exactly what he did. I dropped the same word that he did in the post-game interview. So we were supposed to go, because the anniversary was already on that date, I put the tickets on the next day. So yeah, we went all the way to Fenway, hopeful to see the Pirates, and we didn't end up going at all.
They didn't let you in?
They didn't let us in.
Wow.
They did not let us in because we had the wrong date. Maybe we could have weaseled our way in at some point, but we were just a little devastated and embarrassed, so we watched the game from Boston Beer Works across
I'll
the
tell you,
street.
3 years ago, our neighbors were given tickets to a game, and we got all the way to the game, and it was for the next day.
Oh, so,
And my wife put on a wonderful act of sadness and depression, and the guy said, oh, we'll let you in anyway. He led us into better seats
Really?
than the ones we had.
Oh, maybe because it was a future game instead of a past one. I don't know, but that is so. That's sort of a. It's actually sort of a non-memory, but it's a memory at the same time. And those of you who have ever had issues with your tickets or screwed up, don't worry. It happens to us too. We screw up too sometimes.
I imagine with phones, it's much worse.
It could. Well,
you
with
gotta
me,
see-
with me, I'm terrible with those things. I let my wife do all that. I'm terrible with that kind of thing. So, and you don't even have a phone. so-
No, and you can't collect phone stubs.
No, you really
People used to collect ticket stubs, but you can't collect
Right.
phone stubs.
Well, yeah, what you do is they have the, what is it? They have the MLB app, and you download the app, and it puts the ticket on your phone, and on the way in, it just scans your phone. It's that way for everything now. Like if you go to a concert or a theater show, everything is on your phone now. It's a it's the 2023. It's how it is. But you're right. You can't collect
And
stubs.
you know what it's done away with? I feel bad for him. Scalpers.
Oh yeah, the scalpers.
There's no more scalpers.
You never hear. Got 2 tickets. Got 2 tickets standing outside. Remember that was part of the gig when
I suppose
back in the day.
they could transfer from your phone to their phone.
Somehow, I don't know
It's
how
not-
that would
It's
work.
not quite the same as the guy with the hat on over the corner.
Right. It's like, hey, you want two bleachers, 2 bleachers? Yeah. But they used to. Remember, the scalpers used to stake out their claim. Remember, they would get angry if someone encroached on their
That's right.
territory.
That's right.
And they had guys as far away as the subway stop.
Right.
Right when you got off the subway,
I understand.
there was always that one guy planted. Right, anybody get any tickets? Any tickets?
There
any
were
tickets, any
shootings
tickets?
and knifings, I understand.
Oh yeah, probably. So take heart, folks. We mess up too.
Okay, well, we'll have more Fenway memories
Yes.
next month.
Yes.
It's time for the trivia answer, okay?
Oh
Now,
man.
the question was, what Red Sox player in his career hit the most home runs in April?
Wow. Okay. So
So you can eliminate most of the old-time players because the season didn't start.
I was just gonna say the season didn't start till mid-April, till about the 50s, I want to say, right? So anybody before that would probably be off the table, I'm guessing. So I'm trying to think who would have a lot of Aprils with the Red Sox. So
5,
I'm going to guess.
4, 3,
I'm going to guess Dewey Evans.
1.
No,
Here's the answer.
not Dewey Evans. It's David Ortiz. Is it really? David
Ortiz,
Wow. Does
by
he really?
far.
Does he really?
That's the most home runs
Does he
in April.
really? Well, you stumped me on that one. I was not thinking.
Good.
Good. Well, I knew it had to be someone who was there a long time, and I didn't think Ortiz had quite the tenure that.
If you
that
remember,
Dewey
he
or Rice
started out
did.
a lot of seasons with a bang.
Yeah, that's true.
There were a lot
that's
of seasons
true.
he did.
That's true. So it was popular. That's a good question.
Yep.
Most in April. Very nice. And the most in October, too. So you can just kind of bookend the seasons with April and October. Oh, that's a great question. Well, I have been stumped by this one. So, but you're right, because back in, it was only like in the 60s they started playing early in April
right,
when they
that's right.
expanded the schedule.
Like,
'cause,
you
yeah.
think Ted Williams had very few.
Right, because they didn't play till about April 15th.
And home games be only half of those.
Right,
So
right.
you might only have 6 or 7 home games.
Right,
you know.
right. Yeah.
Poppy's the
Poppy is the champion, huh? Wow.
If you remember the last show, or even the show before, I was afraid that baseball cards had met their demise.
All right.
I never see kids playing with baseball cards anymore. The only time you ever hear about them is maybe on eBay, where people are selling old cards. The original 52 Topps Mickey Mantle card has gone for 7 figures now.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah,
7
7 figures. Yep.
Okay. You buy $1 million house or a piece of
Or a
cardboard.
piece of cardboard with Mickey's picture
But
on it.
new cards are tough to come by, but they are still selling them. So I went out and for the first time in 25 years, bought a box of cards and put the set together from that.
Oh, that
instead
used
of
to be
buying
so
the set
fun.
altogether.
Oh,
That used
God.
to be, and I used to open them all up and give you guys the gum.
Oh, yeah. And you'd sort them into piles by numbers and then.
Sort them all out and
right.
see who you're missing.
Right.
So I did that, and so here's what they look like. The first one that's coming up here is of Devers. He's sort of, this is a horizontal card.
There we go.
See
There he
him?
is. There's
Raf
Rafi.
Devers.
Yes. Yeah.
I think he was number 10.
It's actually a good looking card. I like that. I like that a lot.
Right.
Yeah, that
They're-
looks great.
They're very classy cards. They're
Yeah.
glossy and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And since nobody plays with them anymore,
Yeah.
our kids used to scale them and
Oh,
carry them
God.
around.
We used to carry them around at
The-
school.
The number
Oh,
one
God.
card in the set was all elastic.
Oh, I remember that. It had like a bend to it. Yeah, that's right. That's
Because
right.
you wreck them all.
Right.
But now, as soon as you get them, you put them in the safe deposit box.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You don't mess with them anymore, right?
So this next one is Aaron Judge. And what they did with this was made him number 62 in the set.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that cool?
That's a really cool
He had
idea. I like
62
that.
homers.
I like that.
So
yeah.
let's make him number 62.
That's
'cause
very
I
cool.
thought he'd be number 1.
Right,
But
yeah.
62, I said.
That's very cool,
Somebody's thinking there.
Yeah.
Now, what they also include, besides the 330 cards in the first set, there's 2
Set
sets.
one- set one, of
Set
course,
one.
set
Set
one.
one has 330. The second one has 330. They also include with them what they call chase cards.
Right.
So
Right.
they only appear 1 in every 4 or 5 packs.
Right.
And they're other kind of stuff. But in every single box, they advertise an autograph card.
Autograph card,
And
yes.
so
that's right.
I said, oh, I wonder what my autograph card is going to be.
Is it going to be Judge? Is it going to be
Bogarts?
Yes.
Is it going to be Cole?
Right.
Even a Yankee
Right,
autograph, that'd
right,
be okay.
right.
Well, this is what I got. There he is,
Ezekiel Duran, not Jaron Duran. Ezekiel Duran for the Rangers.
I meant to look him up to see if he still exists.
I don't know.
If he's still
Is
playing.
he a phantom card? We don't know if he's
But
around
it's,
still.
it's a nice signature. So
Yeah, yeah.
apparently Latin Americans write much better than Americans.
Oh
do.
my God! Talk about a lost art of autographs. Oh my God! Some of the if any of you have ever seen Dustin Pedroia's autograph, how would you know? It's just like a big. It's like a kind of a D with a scribble after it, and those are always dubious anyway. Who was it? Was it Mike Schmidt who said the clubhouse boy used to sign all his autographs?
Joe
I think?
DiMaggio.
DiMaggio
Joe
did too,
DiMaggio.
yes, yeah.
Never
yeah.
signed anything.
Right. It
Never
was-
signed anything.
Right.
He had somebody sign it for him.
Yes. So.
And I always remember I stopped collecting. I collected autographs for quite a while. I still have my Walt Dropo
Yes,
autograph,
yeah, yeah.
which is beautiful. It's,
Yeah,
it's
oh,
like
yeah, right.
John Hancock.
Yeah.
You know, it's great writing. But I saw Petey Pedroia's autograph
Yeah,
the
it's
other day.
brutal.
It looked like a dumbbell.
Yeah.
There was a circle here,
Right.
circle here, and a line between.
Just a line
It's like
between
you
them,
could
right.
lift. What? That's Dustin Pedroia
right.
in Martian.
Yes.
Well,
So many. Well, you look at those team balls and you try to figure out who is this, who is this, who is. You know, back in the day, you could tell who every single signature was, and you knew exactly.
you hand the guy a ball now, you go.
Yeah, just
There
here
you
you
go,
go.
kid.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. He's on the Texas Rangers, Ezekiel Duran. So. Actually, speaking of someone we brought up already, you know who has an amazing autograph is Jackie Bradley Jr.
Yes, he does.
His autograph is
he
it's
does.
like calligraphy. It's beautiful.
Yes, he does.
So if you ever had a chance to look at his autograph, go right ahead.
I've seen a movie taken of Babe Ruth standing on the second story of a department store, signing balls and tossing them down to the crowd below. He had like 3 or 4 dozen.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth's autograph is magnificent.
Oh, it's great. Yes, yeah,
And
yep.
it's actually not as expensive as you think because he signed.
He signed
so many.
tons of stuff. If you've ever been to we've been to the Babe Ruth Museum in Baltimore, and if you ever, you could tell it says Babe Ruth, and it's very well. You can read it beautifully. But I think nowadays people don't even write. Everybody types. They all use phones and keyboards and everything. People don't write anymore.
They don't teach cursive.
They don't
writing in
teach
school.
cursive, right? And especially with a lot of players, English isn't even their first language. So there's that on top of it too.
And I really resent that because when I was in first grade, I'll tell you how old I am. There was an inkwell in my desk. I'm left-handed, so I would take the nub in this wooden pen.
Go across.
Right,
Dip
go
it
across.
in, right?
After I dipped the girl in front of me's pigtail in the face, then I would take and you have to write like this.
Right, yeah, you have to
so
look
you
around,
would smear
right, yeah.
all the way
Right,
across.
right.
And I looked like I was handicapped writing with this thing. By the time I did practice teaching, I was teaching handwriting.
Yeah,
You
that's
imagine
right,
that?
right.
I said, what a dichotomy this is.
What planet is this?
And
Yep.
it was Palmer method, which you had to use your whole arm.
Yeah, right.
So we
Yes,
had to
yeah.
up, down,
Up, down,
up, down.
yes.
And a capital
Yeah.
Q was 1, 2,
1, 2,
3,
3.
4.
Yeah, the Palmer
1,
method.
2, 3,
God,
4.
yep. Oh, God.
And we spent a lot of time on that.
yeah.
And you get grades in it.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
we used to have to bring the papers home, and it had the little arrows around the example. It would tell you to go arrow here, arrow there, arrow here. Oh God!
You can still see my 6th grade report card, A's in everything except deportment and penmanship. Now, how can your mother beat you up for being a bad writer?
Bad writer. Sorry, my handwriting's terrible. Just say I learned it by watching you. That's all I need to say, right? So we thought we'd sort of wrap this up with a couple just cool things about the 2020. Oh, we have one.
Before we do that,
we do have one funny story though.
We have to go for a brief stop for another.
Oh, that's right. We have a word from our sponsor coming up.
We have a visitor from
Revere.
From Revere. Just stopped in to do his commercial.
What's up? This is Sully from Revere. Now, I got a great product for all you Sox fans. Now, I know you've been with me, fellas, here, so bear with me. Listen to this. I know you've done this at the park before. You got your beer, you got your nachos, you got your tickets, you're going to make your way down the row, and what happens? You're in the blue seats. And what happens in the blue seats? Guess what? Your ass is too big for the blue seats because they're this big, and your knees are like up at your shoulders and stuff like that, and you got nowhere to put your beer and your nachos and all this. I got the perfect solution for you. It's the squats from Sully workout. Here's how it works. We do squats. See, you lose the butt so you can stay in the chair, but you keep the gut because the gut's cool. You know, you sit back, you got your nachos. It works like a little table right here. You can just use your gut right to hold the nachos and the beer, and you're all set. But that butt is not going to fit in the chair. So what we do, we tailor the workouts for you Sox fans in the cheap seats. Squats, lose that butt. You can fit in the cheap seats and the bleachers. Now, let me tell you, it's $9.95 a month for the Squats for Sully workout. I send it right to your phone. I even have people on call. In fact, I got a question right here. Sully, should I do twerks instead of squat? No, what is this, Miami? We don't do that fruity stuff here. No. We do squats. We don't do twerks, all right? So $9.95 a month, it's cheaper than Planet Fitness. Let me tell you, they say no judgment zone. You bring your dunks in with your workout, they judge you. Trust me, don't go there on that one, all right? But $9.95 a month, Squats with Sully. I give you a workout, you hold your arms up, you get your butt down like this, you lose that butt really quick. Hey, and you know what? It ain't just for Sox games. Say you're going to the Motley Crue show. I don't know why you want to sit down for Motley Crue. I mean, I'd be standing up the whole way. Theater of Pain tour, 85, Rad opened. It was a kick-ass show, let me tell you. The girl in front of me threw up on her shirt. I had to help her clean it up. It was fantastic. Stacy, I'm still single. You got my number. Give me a call. I still got the napkins, all right? So, give me $9.95 a month for Sully's Squat workout, okay? And I will come to your home personally. I will drive from Revere. All these out-of-towners park in Revere. I don't get it, but I will come to your house and personally do a workout for you for just a couple extra dollars a month. And you want to slip me a 12-pack on top of that, I ain't going to object, all right? So, Squats from Sully, look me up, squatsfromsully.com, and I will see you at the ballpark. No butt, more gut. Go Sox.
All right,
hello.
we're back.
Thank you for our sponsor.
Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you take full advantage of it.
It's quite a deal.
It's quite a deal. It's a special deal.
It is, yeah. Limited time.
Yeah. So, and if you're from Revere, 10% off.
Yeah. Oh, yes. The Revere discount. Yeah.
This story.
So we thought we'd share a couple fun stories to end this thing here, and I thought I would share this. As you know, Kike Hernandez and Justin Turner were teammates on the Dodgers before they both joined the Red Sox. And, and anyone who's the parent of a son knows this. I have a 10-year-old, is that, your main topics of conversation tend to drift towards bodily functions much of the time around the house. So we thought we'd share this little story involving Kike Hernandez and Justin Turner.
I found this online just by accident.
This is a great story.
And read the title.
So Enrique Hernandez admits to, during the 2020 NLDS, he admits that he pooped his pants on the field during a game. So, how, you ask? Well, let's find out. Get a load of this story. Kike Hernandez admitted that he pooped his pants during the playoffs. Justin Turner, who reunited with, there's Kike right there. He reunited with Justin Turner. Now, you have to realize, these athletes, they play whether they're healthy or not. I mean, I don't think we quite appreciate what these guys put themselves through when they play. You have a little case of the runs. You're out in the field. You're not in the clubhouse. You are out there.
He claims he was taking
taking earache medicine. Yeah. So Turner Hernandez was taking antibiotics. It was for tooth infection. And one of these side effects, just like we've talked about from our sponsors, was, you guessed it, diarrhea. One of the side effects. So during the game, the Dodgers started doing well, and Hernandez got so excited and so into it and so pumped up that he started screaming when his team was doing well. He started screaming F-bombs.
At the top of his lungs.
At the top of his lungs. And he says, I was DHing, and I thought I gassed, and then I went to lead off the inning, and I struck out on 3 pitches. Well, when I went back in the dugout, I went straight to the bathroom and pulled my pants down, and I had completely messed myself. He got it. So the side effect of the medication is, don't cheer, or you will poop in your pants for cheering too hard. So Turner says, so what you're saying is you misjudged a fart. Oh no, what I'm saying is I pooped my pants during a game in the playoffs. So now whenever you see Kike Hernandez come to the plate, you have this memorable story. They're people just like us, folks. I mean, they may be 1 in a million athletes, but they're just like us. I think of all, when deep down we all admit to having side effects of medications. And so next time you're having a side effect like that, just remember that Kike Hernandez can sympathize with you. You can share. You have something in common with Hernandez.
One of my fondest old memories of Tony Canigliaro, who was known to be a night owl.
Yes, right.
Throwing up in his glove in right field.
Yes, that's right.
As I'm watching the game, and he started holding his glove here, and then he started to drop it on this side. It was saying, "What's going on? What's going on?" Then it was apparent what was going on.
I think Tug McGraw had a few of those too. Remember they used to talk about Tug McGraw hated the day games because he'd still be hung over from the night before? That happened with him a few times. And I don't know if I ever brought this up. There was a guy in the Blue Jays called Rick Bossetti, and he was sort of a part-time DH, like fifth outfielder kind of guy. And he made it his goal to pee on every major league field. And he did it. Every time he played at a different field. I don't know if it was during batting practice or during a game or something. He watered the field at some point.
Well, because he was a retriever.
Yes. So he was a reliever in every sense of the word. So
That's good. That's good.
look him up, Rick Bossetti, true story. So, well, to close it out, we thought we'd end with, the season is only 20 games old, but we thought that we would just bring up a few of the highlights, some of the cool things that have happened in the 2023 season so far. And a couple of these are very recent, actually. My two actually just happened. I don't know if you want to start with yours and drift into mine, or...
Well, Sox are 10-10 at this point, and it's really hard to judge what kind of team this is going to be.
All right.
They look good, they look bad. The pitchings look good, it's look bad. They've changed their lineup already. They brought half of Wu Sox up already.
Yes, they did. They did. Right.
They lost,
arguably, they lost Duvall.
Losing Duvall. How do you account for that? I always say in baseball, the team that has no injuries will win.
Absolutely.
I remember one year the Yankees had like 9 guys down.
Oh, I remember that.
And then next year, nobody.
Right, I remember that. Right.
But Adam Duvall tried to make a diving catch.
Right.
At the time, he was hitting .450, leading the league.
He was player of the week.
Player of the first week,
Right.
and out the second week.
Out for the
he
second
made a catch. He rolled on his arm, broke a bone in his wrist, and we may not see him until 4th of July.
So who knows when he's going to be back.
And it's just such a shame.
It is. It really, especially since, like we said, the Sox are 10-10, but they're heading to Milwaukee right now, which would make 4 straight series that they're playing a first place team. Yeah. I mean, that's if you're 10-10 going against nothing but first places, that's actually pretty good. They've only played one bad team so far. The Tigers.
Well, it'll even out.
And of course they'll play the Royals and the Nationals and all those bad teams later on in the year.
You mentioned the Pirates. We've been to see the Sox already play the Pirates. They picked the game because they were going to win that game.
Right, and the Pirates are good.
And the Pirates swept them.
And the Pirates are good so far.
So not only was it 31 degrees, but we got beat. Right. And the game wasn't slow.
No, it wasn't. Right.
It dragged. Right. And it was too cold to drink beer.
Right. We can only drink it for an hour and a half, right? So mine is, I have to give a big congratulations. This just happened a couple days ago. Clayton Kershaw got his 200th win the other day.
That's right.
First ballot Hall of Famer. The way pitching is now, who knows how many 200-game winners we're ever going to see again, let alone 300.
Exactly.
Scherzer's about the only other guy that really has a shot at 200 right now. But typical dominant Kershaw game. He pitched a shutout, and so congrats to him. I know he gets some flack for maybe a couple bad postseason games he had, but he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, folks. So that was a great milestone to have this early in the year.
This next one just happened. I will remember it for years. The Sox were playing. Who's we just?
It was the Twins.
The Twins, just playing the Twins. First game of the season.
Series.
Game is 2-2, and we go into the dreaded post.
The 10th inning with the ghost runner.
The ghost runner. I hate. It's so bogus.
It is silly.
So anyway, the Twins managed to score 2 runs. I said, this game's over. It's had it. Last of the inning, was it Wong?
It was McGuire.
McGuire hit a
great piece of hitting, opposite field, little single that tied the game.
Tied the game. It's 4-4, and up comes Alex Verdugo. and he hit a ball where I don't believe I've ever seen
I've
a ball
never seen
hit.
one either.
If you look down the right field line where the foul pole is, on the wall, there's a yellow line that goes down the 4 feet of the wall.
Right.
It's a little bit ahead
Yeah.
of the pole.
They don't quite line up.
don't
There's
quite
this much
line
of a
up.
gap. Right.
He hit a ball that hit about 3 inches past that line.
Right.
And watching him, like, you know, the Fisk thing about
Yeah.
watching, they had a camera on him, and he took about 5 steps
And
and
then he
stopped.
stopped, and then he
Took 5 more steps.
Then he
and
stopped, and he's kind of craning
5
his
more
neck
steps
to
and
look
stopped,
around.
and the ball hit the wall, and the outfielder
And the right fielder
chased
gave
that-
up on it.
Gave up on it, and the winning run scored.
Yeah, and O'Brien didn't even know. Remember, he was announcing, well, that's foul. Oh, wait, it's fair.
And then they had a replay to see if somebody had touched it.
So the lights flashed twice.
It was the weirdest
It was
ending to a
very-
game. Now, what they do after games, I think, is somewhat a little bit mean. They do that in every sport. As soon as the game ends and someone has done something heroic, they shove a microphone in his
Right.
face.
Yeah, tell us what you were thinking.
Or something
Yeah.
like that. And, you know, and they have all the things one game at a time. You know,
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to
Well,
help
you're,
the team.
you're trying to help the team win. Yeah,
all the-
good Lord,
all the Bull
good
Durham
Lord,
lines.
good Lord willing, you know, I'm here to help the ball club. Yeah, right.
But Alex, and this was great. He said,
So what were you thinking out there when you hit that?
I said, please be F-bomb fair. Please be F-bomb
Please be
fair.
F-bomb fair.
And then he said it again.
And Jemai Webster goes, we're live, Alex.
Alex, this is live TV.
And it was immediately on Twitter and everything. You can probably still find it out there somewhere on YouTube. It
You
was
can't
hysterical.
blame the guy.
It was
He was
hysterical.
So excited. And that's all they talked about on radio the next day, how funny it was.
Never mind that Sale looked great. Never mind that they had a great. It was all about the F-bomb post-game interview.
Post-game interview. And today they said, well, you know, we're on cable, so that doesn't matter. It was pretty late.
Yeah. Hopefully, no kids were watching at that point. Like they've never heard that before. It was one of the all-time great post-game interviews. So
Only top David Ortiz's.
only
F-bomb.
during the
Olympic
marathon. Yes,
That was
the only better F-bomb in Red Sox
I
history.
mean, I've heard him sidelines.
Oh yeah,
in
during the
football
game.
and
Oh
skating
yeah,
time
or
like
during
that.
the game, somebody
Not-
yells something.
Not a direct interview with a
right,
microphone.
with
Right in his
2
face.
inches.
Please be F-bomb
yeah, please
fair.
be F-bomb fair.
That was so awesome.
So yeah, we thought we'd wrap up on that fun note. So like I said, the Sox right now are 10-10, and hopefully we'll have a little better read on them in a month. They'll be a little healthier, and like we said, I called all along. I said in spring training, the 2 surprise teams are going to be the Red Sox and the Diamondbacks, and it's holding out so far. So
I hope you folks enjoy this guy. We like to have fun banter.
We do. This is
Baseball
fun.
Shouldn't be deadly
It
serious.
shouldn't-
Sports should be fun.
it should be fun. It should
fun
be.
stories to tell about.
Exactly. And you know what? Just big picture here. I was pushing 30 before I saw the Sox win. You were in your 60s before you saw the Sox win. You know what? Big picture, folks. We've seen 4 World Series wins in our lifetimes, folks. It doesn't get much better than that.
I followed the Red Sox
seriously.
74 years. They won 4 times. They lost 70.
Right. So, and it's worth it for the 4 wins.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
But
So anyway, we'll see you next month. This is Talkin' Baseball signing off from Pete Lincoln,
Jason Smith,
Smith.
take care,
Take
everyone.
care. See you all in on.
Sox.
Thank you, Truck.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 cycles out and the whole morning. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Let me root for the whole team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 cycles out and the whole morning.